Hello, this is the Sako 90 Peak in 308 Winchester. I'm Chris Parkin and welcome to Gunmark TV. The rifle is available in 22 250, 243, 6.5 Creedmoor, 7mm08, 308, 6.5 by 55, 270, 3006, 8 by 57, 9.3 by 62, 270 Winchester short magnum, 300 Winchester short magnum, 6.5 PRC, 7mm Ren mag or 300 Win mag. Overall length is 1020mm or 40.25 inches. Overall weight is 2,574 grams, which is 5 pounds 11 ounces. Length of pull is 362mm or 14¼ inches. So, you've seen the rifle in use, let me tell you a little bit more about it. Now you can read all the specifications online, but I'm going to tell you some of the major factors and why this Sako is a particularly pleasing rifle to shoot. Starting out, you've got Sako's usual cold hammer forged barrels. These are made to a very high degree of precision. This one is 510mm or 20 inches long and it has a 1 in 11 inch twist rate in 308. It's threaded at the muzzle 15x1 and the muzzle diameter is 16mm just behind that. Sako's actions use the famous 3-lug bolt, which gives you a 60-degree lift, but learning a little bit more about how the bolt's improved, let's discuss it in some detail. They've stopped using the semi-controlled feed bolt face of the Sako 85 family, and now we've gone back to a fully recessed bolt face like the 75 was, but we've also got twin ejector claws to make sure the case is flung out at an accurate angle to give more reliable case ejection. There is a single extractor claw as we've seen before, and you do get good strong primary extraction from this action from the bevels built in here to draw the case initially out of the chamber. Another interesting feature is there's now an anti-rotation pin on the front of the bolt shroud which stops you accidentally decocking the bolt when it's out of the gun if necessary. But as before, we've got 3 lugs that give you a 60-degree lift and there's a 60mm handle with a 20mm teardrop on the end to give you good tactile control. The bolt release is on the left side of the action and on the right side we've got a large ejection port as before. The safety catch has 2 positions. It's rear with the bolt locked. You can press the little button here which allows you to lift the bolt for a safe unload, and then forward, safe dry fire, to allow you to fire the rifle. Looking on the underside of the rifle, you can see the 5-shot magazine in place. This is steel. Now you have to push it in slightly, just add a bit of pressure before you can push the release catch on the front and allow the mag to drop out. That's obviously easier when the rifle's this way up. It's a steel magazine, holds 5 rounds in 308 plus 1 in the chamber. And that clips accurately and conveniently back in place with assuredness. It doesn't sort of half click in allowing you to drop it. It's definitely confirmed as in position. The trigger is now adjustable for 5 weight settings without any removal from the rifle. Turn the rifle over and you can see there's a hole here in the trigger guard and you slot a T25 key through there goes into this mechanism here, and you've got 5 stages. Now each stage has got a significant detent, allows it to click in position, so you can change it for seasons or whatever you prefer, and you can go back to any previous positions without any worry that you've got a different weight to how it was in the past. I measured all 5 trigger weights and I got 1769, 1435, 1310, 973 or 661 grams, which corresponds with 62, 50, 46, 34 or 24 ounces. The trigger blade is also adjustable for position. You can undo that screw there and it will slide backwards and forwards slightly to accommodate your personally preferred reach from the actual grip. Sako have always used multiple action lengths, and that means on this 308 action you've got just 98mm bolt travel, so it's not excessively long. Of course the longer cartridges like 3006 have longer bolt travel, but in this situation for things like the 22-250, 243 or 65 Creedmoor, you'll get the same 98mm bolt travel. The carbon fibre stock is made with resin transfer moulding, which essentially uses almost like a carbon fibre mesh or socket which goes into the mould and under vacuum pressure draws the resins into it which cure to give you the solid structure. You've got the multi-weave everywhere which gives you this great visual and tactile perception, and the coatings on it have been left slightly rougher, so you've got better grip and tactile perception of that. There's very little resonance from the stock, you don't get any kind of hollow ringing from it, so I do think Sako have made a very good job of this. It's also incredibly stiff. The forend is also fully free floating and you get no intermittent barrel contact from the sides of the stock, which is big enough to get a good hand-sized grip on it. It shoots well from sticks, shoots well from a bipod. As you can see, it's got studs mounted front and rear for a sling or bipod. The recoil pad at the back is about 25mm thick. It's solid, so you don't get any soft spots. It's not spongy at all, and it grips well into your shoulder pocket. Very comfortable to shoot. 308 is the sort of first calibre which starts to get a bit sparky in most rifles. This rifle at just 2.5 kilos, 2.6 kilos is very stable under firing, and it's extremely comfortable to shoot. I was happy shooting it all day long. I think I put 70 rounds through it in one session and came home with absolutely no doubts at all as to the fact that this was a very well controlled rifle, very modest in its perception of recoil, which I think is very indicative of the way the carbon fibre has been laid out in the stock to make sure it's got good stiffness, but as well as some natural harmonic damping, and make sure you're not feeling an awful punch of recoil from the rifle. The larger calibers with even more recoil will definitely benefit from a stock like this, which has such good recoil control. Inspecting the used brass shows good strong firing pin marks. There's no cratering at all on the brass. You get good primer extraction and strong ejection, which you can clearly see on the video. Sako rifles have always been accurate and precise. They come with an MOA guarantee to assure 3 rounds will go in that little group at 100 yards. Well, this rifle surpassed that. It did it with 5 rounds in 2 different cartridges at 100 meters, which is 9% further. I think you can see from the video the rifle certainly performs in use. I'm going to dismantle it now and show you some of the more subtle factors that you don't see as easily on the websites or in magazine articles. I'm just going to take the scope off for starters, which will show one of the best features of this new gun. For years, Sako have used the tapered dovetail arrangement with their own proprietary rings and bases to allow you some windage control on your rifle scope mounting. But if I take this off now, you can see it's actually now got Picatinny bases machined actually in the steel of the action itself, which gives even greater assurance that your rifle scope is going to stay in position. If I just put that one side, turn this over, and I can show you the rifle from the underside. I'm just going to pop the magazine out, just drop that into my palm there, and if I undo the front and rear action screws, you can see the base of the action as it comes out of the stock. Sako use a flat bottom action so it fits solidly into the base of the stock. With the rifle out of the stock, you can see the flat bottom to the inlet, which allows the flat base of the action to fit firmly in place. You can also see this handmade in Finland logo, which assures you of the manufacturing confidence that Sako have. I'm just going to pop this back on now, but before we do, you can see the trigger in a little bit more detail. This is the adjustment screw, which is accessible through the trigger guard, and you've got 5-stage detents here to adjust the trigger weight. The trigger is incredibly precise, it's very predictable, and Sako actually advertise it has a lock time of just 1.3 milliseconds from the instant you squeeze it and it releases without any creep to the fact the firing pin is going forward and triggering the case. The barrel is screwed into the action, and you can see the recoil lug there which fits into the pocket in the inlet. I'll just pop this back in now. That will go back in there. Screws screw neatly back into position. There is no evident bedding stress in this receiver and rifle fit. As I tighten these in position, there's no sponginess at all. You can feel the internal surfaces meet each other, lock, and then the torque just applies. There's no sponginess as anything bends into position, and that's another indicator of a lack of any kind of bedding stress within the gun. Of course, using Picatinny mounting systems, those will just go straight back on there. I can nip those back up in position. When I tested that, I got it within one click on each attempt. Well, I hope you enjoyed that review. Please like, subscribe and comment, and make sure you click the notification bell to keep track of Gunmark TV's regular uploads. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.